Hi everyone, I'm happy to have you back here again. So, in the previous video, I took you through how to apply for admissions in Ashesi University. If you've not watched that, you should go back to watch it. So, in this video, I'll take you through how to apply for financial aid here in Ashesi University. So, from the previous video, I took you through how to fill the other sections of the application. Today, in applying for the financial aid, the session we need to go to is the other session, which is this very session here. So when you come here, you find financial aid. Now there's a bit of a caveat or things that you should note. Financial aid here in Ashesi University is given based on need or merit, and so it is important for you to demonstrate that you have a need for the financial aid. And honestly, if you do not need it, there's no need for you to compete with the many people out there who need the scholarship. And so note also that the Ashesi University resources are limited. And so financial aid is not given to all applicants. Some people may get the full scholarship, others may get just part scholarship. But either ways, I hope that you are fortunate to get a scholarship from Ashesi University if you need it. So note that in applying for the scholarship, the details that you need to put in here must be accurate and true. This is very, very important because they may not even consider your application at all if they find out that some of the information you've put in here are inaccurate. And I will guarantee you that Ashesi has its own way of finding out the accuracy of the information you put in here. So just be honest, put in the right information. Do not falsify anything that may actually go against your application. So some two things that you must note while you are filling the application form is that at the end of this, you will need to attach a detailed letter expressing your need for the scholarship from Ashesi University. And here, the little tip I have for you is to just be honest with the need you have. Maybe your parents cannot pay for it, so you can express that. But aside from that, one key thing that you should add as a reason for why you need a scholarship is what you think the scholarship can help you achieve at the end of the day. Ashesi is so much interested on making social impact. So if you have a mission or a dream of actually impacting the community in any way, it would be good for you to add it here as a reason why you think Ashesi University should give you the scholarship. Be detailed, be concise, be precise, put in the right information, and express your genuine reasons for why you believe you need the scholarship. Also, you will need to add your parents' pay slips or bank statement, or if your parents have actually gone for any loans which are debts, get copies of them, and then you just scan them and add it at the end of this application. So for people who do not need the financial assistance, after you filled all these other aspects of the application, you can just select no. But if you need a scholarship, you choose yes, and then we move on. So note one very, very, very important thing is that all the calculations, all the figures that you'll be putting in this session are going to be in dollars, US dollars. So you have to actually find out the dollar rate in your country. If you're in Ghana, I think now it's around 14, but just find out the dollar rate at the time where you are applying, and then whatever figures or whatever amounts you need to put in here, make sure that you convert it from your currency to the US dollars, and then you put the figure in. It's a very, 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 very important. If you put them in your own currency, which is not the US dollar currency, Ashesi doesn't have time to do all that work for you. If you believe that your parents can actually pay a part of or sponsor some part of your education, it is good that you detail them here, because like mentioned, Ashesi has limited resources. So whatever amount it is, if you think they can pay part of your books, your medical insurance, your on-campus housing, your meal plan, anything at all, just put it in this session. If you want any details about Ashesi University's fees, you can just go on the website and find out about Ashesi University fees. So you find the current fees for tuition, for books, for medical insurance, and all of that. So note that the amount you put here is what your parents are going to be contributing for your 4 years here in Ashesi University. So they'll be paying that amount every semester for the 4 years. So you just be sure that your parents can actually support with that amount of money for your 4 years of education in Ashesi. So there are samples here of how you can do it, the formats. Make sure that it is in dollars, like I mentioned earlier. Also, the next part, which has to do with um, who sponsored your education for your previous education. So, if let's say your previous education was senior high school education, yeah, you put in details of the person who sponsored and your relationship with them. If it's an organization, you can put their details here. Say you enjoy free senior high school education, you can put the details here as well. Now, the next part has to do with the number of people who depend on your parents or your guidance. So, put here the number of people, including yourself, and then here the number of people who depend on your parents for their educational cost. And then in this very section, you come and put in the details of all the people who depend on your parents. So there's a sample here. You put in their name, the age, the relationship you have with them, if they're in school, the school they attend, their year in school, the amount that your parents contribute towards their tuition. Now here you'll be doing a bit of calculation. Yes, so everything here are in years. So you are finding the annual income based on what you are asked for. So the first thing is to find the annual income for the first from the first head of your family. So if they receive salaries, just find out the salary they receive, and then say if you know for a month the monthly salary, you can just multiply by 12 to get the annual salary. So if it's your dad who earns 3,000 per month, then it means that you have to multiply that 3,000 Ghana cedis by 12, and then the total amount you get, which is the annual income, you convert it to dollars and then you put the amount here. Now this next part has to do with the income of the second head of your household, if there is. And you can see that there is no asterisk here, which means that if it doesn't apply to you, you can just move on. So you do the same thing for the second head of your family. Find out their monthly income. If you know the annual income, fine. But then if you don't have the annual income, just find the monthly income, multiply by 12, then the amount you have, you convert it from your currency to the dollar, and then you put it in this section. Now, if your family has any business aside from their jobs, yes, it could be that your parents are not actually working in a company where they could earning monthly salary, or so maybe you're living with your mom who just runs a business. Yes, so I think that this first will not apply to you. So the only part you have to fill will be their income from the business. So if you do not know of their annual income from the business, you can just find a monthly one, or you can find weekly one, multiply it by 4 to get a monthly one, and then multiply that monthly one by 12 to get the annual income, and then you convert it to dollars. Very important. So you do the same thing if your parents or your guidance in any pension funds or retirement funds. You do the same thing for if they have any investment where they actually earn income from. You do the same thing here, convert it to dollars, and then for your relatives who form a part of your family, just make sure that you find their income. So say you yourself you are working, or you have other siblings who are working, find their monthly income, convert it to the annual income, then you just convert it to dollars, and then you put the value. So after you are done with all of this, you want to get your total amount of income. So you just add everything here and then you put it here. Since all of this have already been converted to dollars, you just sum them up and then you have the total. Here they are asking, do you expect significant increase or decrease in your parents' income this year? So if you think your parents' income will increase for any reasons, you just put it in here. You can find out from your parents, yes, and or your guidance whether they expect their salaries to increase. So this next stage has to do with this whole part has to do with your family expenses. Like I mentioned earlier, they are your family's annual expenses, so they are per year. And then it's important for you to convert them to dollars if your currency is not already dollars. So the first one has to do with the amount your family spend on rent. So you find your yearly rent, yes, and then you convert it to dollars, put it here, and then how much your family spend on taxes. So if your family pays any direct taxes, also the amount your family spend on fuel, say they have a car or they have other fuel types that they use at home, make sure it is per year and then you convert it to dollars and put it here. You do the same thing if your family pays school fees. Any fees that your parents pay pertaining to your education or for your siblings, just make sure. So in Ghana here, for basic education, typically it's 3 terms per year. So if you know what your parents pay for a term, yes, that has to do with school fees for your son. Here we take school fees and then studies fees. So school fees, studies fees, find the amounts that they spend on all of that per month, per semester. Yes, so they multiply by 3 since there are 3 semesters or 3 terms in a year. And then the value you get, if it's for one person, yes, that's it. If there are more people, just make sure that you get it for all of the people in the family for the whole year and then you convert it to dollars as the amount that your family spends for school fees. You do the same thing for health insurance, yes, and then for entertainment, the amount your family spends on food per year. So if you know averagely the amount that your family spends a day on food, you just multiply it by 30 to get a monthly one, and then you can multiply by 12 to get a yearly one, and then the total you have converted from your currency and then you put the figure here. We do the same thing for public transport. That's water, electricity, any form of utility that your family spends on. And then for your medical bills as well. And then if you spend on house help, it doesn't necessarily have to be a house help who comes to stay with your parents or with your family to work. It could be house help who comes maybe occasionally, maybe a gardener, any form of house help that your family uses. So we find out the amounts per year, convert to dollars. So in the same way as we did for the total annual income, we do the same thing for the total annual expenses. So you add up all of the expenses here from this first one, from the rent to that's of the house help, and then you put in it. Since all of this are already in dollars, you just sum up everything and then put it here. So now when you're done, you have to compare your total annual income, which is here, to the total annual expenses. So one may exceed the other. So Ashesi is interested in if your expenses exceed your income. So if your family's income is less than your expenses, which means they are spending more than you are earning, then you have to explain how your family manages to meet the rest of its needs. Because ideally, you can't spend more than them. So if you're spending more than you earn, it means that there should be another source of income that you use to sponsor those expenses. So you have to explain how they do that. It could be from a loan, it could be from maybe they got a gift, a cash gift from someone or something. So you can just explain, just to justify why your family's expenses is more than its income. So after that, here you actually check if your family has a land certificate or they have a land. And also if your family has its own home. If your family is currently constructing a home, you also tell that it could be that your family already has a home, but then they are still constructing another home. So for each of them, you choose yes, and then you also choose if your family have electricity. Then here they want to find out the kind of material your roof is made of. So if your roof is made of aluminium, of thatch, of metal roofing, anything, any material that your family's roof, your house roof is made of, you just indicate that here. And then if your family owns vehicles, you put that here. So vehicles including your own vehicle. So if they have cars, you put the amount, the number here. And then you come and give details of the vehicles here. So you give details of the make, the model, the year, and there's a sample here you can look to. So here you take all the assets that your family owns. And then here they want to find out, does your family have any debt? Like I mentioned earlier, your family may have actually incurred a debt just to sponsor some other aspects of your family's expenses. So if your family has incurred any debt, you actually indicate it here, and then you tell how much debt they owe. But if your family does not have, you can just say no. So you have to explain why your family got that debt. And like I said, do not falsify any information. Just be honest, just be truthful, and then you have fun. So this final part has to do with a referee for all the details that you've written. So you need to get somebody who can verify all these details that you've put in here. So let's make sure that I get someone. But the important thing is that it should not be a relative. It should not include a relative. So it could be any other person. It could be your family, your parents, employee, or anybody. Yes, that could verify the details. So the disclaimer here is to find out if you understood everything, the test from the beginning to the end while you were filling it. But if you indicate that you understood, then it means that everything that you've put in there represents you. That's why it is very important that after your application process, you go through everything, you run through everything. Don't be in a rush. Just make sure that you go through everything and be sure that everything that you put in there is accurate, because you may make mistakes. So it's important for you to actually go through them. So to prevent any rush for you to submit your application and then later find out that you made a mistake, it is important for you to start applying early. And you don't have to finish everything at a go. Sometimes your brain may be tired, so you can start with some parts of the application and continue, but just make sure that you finish before the deadline. Make sure that when you're done, you go through everything from the programs to the checklist. Go through everything. This checklist is available, but this checklist has to do with all the documents that you need for your application. So this one is just here for you to remind you and for you to check through and be sure that you have actually added all the documents that you need to add. So I believe this video has been of help to you, and I'll be glad if you give me a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, suggestions, any thoughts, any clarifications. Put it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as possible on that. It's been nice having you here. Thanks for watching my video to the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. See ya.